Hi, I'm Jamie Ryan, and I am part of the design team developing the Savanah Connections project, the African elephant and its ecosystem. I've got a little drawing here, a little diagram of what we kind of want the exhibit to look like. Things aren't exactly to scale, and we're going to have to use our imagination a little bit here. I can only fit so much into this small space for such what's going to be such a large exhibit. But we can focus first on the goals of this exhibit. And the main goal is that the exhibit be designed to support the physical, mental, and social well being of the African elephants and the species cohabitating with them. This is to be done by replicating the savanna ecosystem and encouraging natural behaviors. A few key features that support prioritizing animal welfare from the viewpoint of the animals is that exhibit is going to be very spacious with separate zones. There'll be an elephant activity zone in the center that provides roaming spaces with scattered trees and logs for natural foraging and scratching, as well as mud wallows and dust baths for skincare and thermal regulation. It will also include interactive feeding stations like hanging feeders. There will be a watering hole and wading pool to provide hydration, play, and cooling opportunities. It will have both shallow and deep sections so the elephants can fully submerge while zebras, impala, ostriches, giraffes can all drink. It should have a rocky edges and gradual slopes so that has a natural look but is still easily accessible. So it won't look like a pool like it shows right here. Um, the exhibit will also include grazing and foraging area that will be open, so we're gonna have to pretend that this is much larger and much more open. It should have a variety of vegetation like bushes, grasses, trees. There should be a quiet resting zone as well for choice-based retreats for animals who need rest or privacy. That'll be right here. It should have this natural-looking barrier that separates it from the viewing area over here. There are shaded shelter with soft sand bedding, also temperature-controlled barns for night resting or for weather issues. Other zones will be included that we'll discuss when we talk about guest perspective and keeper perspectives, but these zones we already talked about prioritize animal welfare by providing a stimulating, enriching, and naturalistic environment where elephants and their cohabitating species can live while thriving socially, physically, and mentally. This aligns with the Dallas Zoo's master plan and ensures a holistic and sustainable approach to animal care. From a zookeeper's perspective, there will also be interactive training and husbandry zone right here for keeper demonstrations and guest education. This will be for health checks, positive reinforcement training, and public education. Protected contact training areas off scene back here as well will allow elephants to voluntarily participate in health checks to reduce stress. Included, there will be draft feeding platforms and specialized hoof care areas for multi-species management. For the zookeeper's benefit as well as the animals, there will be automatic watering systems that provide constant fresh water. The deep little and large enclosure allows for a lot, deep litter of the large enclosure allows for a lot of animal waste to naturally remove itself as in a bioactive enclosure and will reduce necessary cleaning times. There will also be easy accessible separate holding spaces back here again for quarantine in case of individuals that need isolation. There are drainage systems in place to prevent standing water and bacterial growth, as well as a manure composting system. Non-slip naturalistic flooring will prevent joint issues as well as hoof wear. Weather-resistant barriers and fencing along the outside will ensure safety while blending into the habitat and keep that naturalistic feel. To reduce environmental impact, energy-efficient lighting and water recycling systems will be used. To allow keepers to move safely and not disturb guests, there will be separate service roads and pathways along with observation towers here and here uh, for clear visibility and controlled animal movement. Efficient keeper workflow reduces workload, improves safety, and enhances daily care. The long-term sustainability of this enclosure minimizes maintenance costs, and aligns with the conservation goals of the zoo's master plan. From the visitor perspective, the exhibit aims to give an immersive, educational, and inspiring experience. We want to create a deep connection to African elephants and their ecosystems. The goal is to increase awareness, promote conservation efforts, and create a lasting impact on visitors. To help with this goal, there will be cultural educational plaza located outside the exhibit on the entrance and exit, right where you see those handprints. The purpose will be to combine the conservation messages with the cultural elements and will include interactive kiosks about elephant conservation and threats, replicated village structures that showcase human and wildlife coexistence, touch station with safe artifacts like elephant tusks and giraffe skulls, and live plant exhibits that feature medicinal plants used by African communities. We want visitors to know and understand that elephants are keystone species in the savannah. They create watering holes, they disperse seeds, they help maintain biodiversity. We can highlight their interactions with giraffes, zebras, impalas, and ostriches, showing the delicate balance of the African ecosystem. We can highlight the threats facing the elephants like poaching, habitat destruction, and human wildlife conflict to raise awareness. We can show guests how zoos contribute to elephant conservation through breeding programs, research, and partnerships. Through this, we hope that visitors will take action like avoiding products that are linked to habitat destruction, avoiding unethical animal tourism, and supporting ethical conservation organizations. We will provide information that can allow them to become advocates for wildlife by sharing their experience and knowledge with others, encouraging responsible tourism and sustainable practices, and hopefully by supporting legislation that protects animals from poaching and trafficking. We will include a pledge to protect wall here in the back as they leave, where visitors can write down and pin up how they plan to help wildlife. We will also have an interactive conservation donation station where guests can use their bank cards to easily support elephants and other animal protection projects. We hope that visitors spend 30 to 45 minutes engaged in the various parts of the exhibit between the main viewing areas, interactive learning stations, cultural ecological storytelling, the animal husbandry platform, and the conservation donation areas. We hope to promote an exhibit that engages diverse audiences, promotes active learning, and drives conservation access. We can assess the success of these goals in varied ways. For the animal welfare goals, we can monitor the animal's behavioral signs for natural behavior through ethogram and behavioral studies, as well as health and welfare indicators. We will also pay attention to how well the species are cohabitating and whether new social dynamics emerge within the multi-species design. Paying attention to keeper feedback is very important as well. We can ask them directly how well animals are responding to positive reinforcement training and pay attention to their daily logs, cleaning efficiency, food distribution, things like that. We can track our visitors' goals by looking at how long visitors are spending at the exhibit, looking at the Pledge to Protect wall for interactions, and by viewing donations. We could also conduct exit surveys occasionally that ask things like, what did you learn about elephants today? What did you learn about the elephants today? What conservation actions are you planning on taking? Asking questions that aim to answer if the exhibit changed how people think about elephant conservation will allow us to assess if our exhibit is achieving its goals of education and conservation impacts. I also have some sources for you. Thank you.